What's good? It's Wrestling Kingdoms here. Today I'm gonna go over my official WWE SummerSlam predictions. I'm gonna be going over every match on the card, what I think of every potential outcome that can happen, who I think the winners and losers are gonna be, what I think of the potential rivalries after SummerSlam. If you like daily wrestling content, make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna go just straight into the predictions. First match I'm gonna start with of night one is the match that I am the least excited about, which is very unfortunate and very sad due to the fact that this is the women's main event scene, and the fact that your women's main event scene is this trash is very disappointing. You're gonna be getting Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. This match lost all hype the moment Naomi cashed in on the World Heavyweight Championship. The moment she cashed in on that championship, this match lost all potential hype because no one cared for Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Even myself, even though I am one of the biggest supporters of Jade Cargill and Tiffany Stratton, because I do think the criticism that they get is a bit much. But to be fair, they don't make it easy on themselves due to their inability sometimes with certain things, especially Jade with her in-ring ability and her promos. But yeah, I really don't care who wins this match, if I'm being honest. Who I want to win is honestly Tiffany Stratton. I do not want to see a Jade Cargill championship run. I was interested in the idea with Naomi Bianca, but without Naomi there, I really don't care about this championship run, if I'm being honest. Now, who I think is going to win? I think Jade is going to win. I don't think they're going to have someone lose the Queen of the Ring tournament. Ever since it's been reintroduced, I think every person has won. I don't think Jade is going to be the first one. They're high on Jade. It's very obvious what they want to do with Jade. Jade looks like she's about to be the next coming of Rhea Ripley. It looks like she's about to be the black version of Rhea Ripley, even though they already have that in Bianca. But they're keen on Jade Cargill being a babyface, even though I think a lot of her issues will be fixed if she was a heel. But it is what it is. Don't know what you do with Tiffany Stratton. They may end up doing a rematch, but Jade Cargill, I have Jade Cargill becoming your new WWE's Women's Champion. We end up getting Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. The story that they've been telling here has been good. I really been enjoying it. The story is Karrion Kross trying to see Sami Zayn show his true colors of being that dark, evil guy that Karrion thinks he is, while Sami Zayn is being, the typical beloved babyface, does the right thing, doesn't take the cheap way out. I like what they've been telling here. I like the story they've been telling here. This is their second match, if I'm not mistaken. I like the story they've been telling here. I do think it's been dragging on a bit, but I do think this is the time to end the feud. Either have Sami Zayn turn heel or just end the feud after this match. I think Sami Zayn is going to win. I just don't see a world where Karrion Kross wins. I just don't like. Didn't Karrion Kross win their last match, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, I think they had another match where Karrion won by cheating. Yeah, they had 3 matches. Yeah, they had Night of Champions. Then they had a match on Raw where he used a steel pipe to win, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it only makes sense for Sami to win because I just don't see a world where Karrion Kross wins here. I just don't. Unless Sami turns heel or does like some cheating maneuver, which I don't think he will. I just don't see a world where Karrion Kross wins. Plus, Karrion Kross still has to sign a new contract with WWE, and we don't even know if he's going to resign. So this could be a way to write Karrion Kross off, have him lose, and then just have him disappear. Very interested to see how this match plays out. Very interested to see if they continue this feud afterwards. But I'm going to be honest. If you don't turn Sami Zayn heel, just end the feud because we don't need to see Karrion Kross continue to lose just for no. And this feud does nothing for Sami Zayn. This only benefits Karrion Kross, which I don't mind. But if Sami Zayn doesn't turn heel, then this feud kind of is pointless. So I think Sami Zayn is going to win here. I'm interested to see how this match plays out, but I just don't see a world where Karrion Kross wins. But we'll see how this match plays out, though. Now we get the Judgment Day versus Charlotte and Alexa Bliss for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. This match I am somewhat excited about, mainly due to Roxanne Perez and the Judgment Day. I've been liking the story they've been telling here. I think this is the moment where Charlotte and Alexis is going to win this match. I just don't see a world where Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss lose this match. I just don't see it. They lost the last time due to it being a fatal 4-way women's tag match, but this time it's just a regular tag match. So I don't see Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair losing this match if it's just a regular tag match, especially because I don't see any outside interferences, because typically with the Judgment Day with the women's tag titles, they don't really get much interferences for the most part. All of their interferences typically come on Raw. So very interested to see how this match plays out, but I do think this is where they're going to lose those women's tag titles, even though I want the Judgment Day to retain those titles because I like what they've been doing, Raquel and Roxanne. I think they're just only getting in the beginning stages of that tag team. They're just really just stretching the surface of what they could do with those two women. But I think they're going to pull the trigger on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. It makes sense. They're very over with the crowd. Charlotte is getting good reactions. It makes sense. Now, we already know where this is going, which is why I don't really care for these titles, because we already know where this is going. Charlotte and Alexa is going to eventually become best friends. One of them is going to betray the other, have a feud, and then those tag titles become irrelevant. They're going to be on PLEs. They're going to be on a couple of PLEs. They're going to defend them. Fans are going to get their hopes up like they typically do and act like they're really building that women's tag division, even though they're really not. And then those tag titles going to be irrelevant. But it should be a fun little reign for Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, and the feud should be great whenever they do feud with each other. So that's at least exciting. So very interested to see how this plays out. Now we got the celebrity match between Jelly Roll, Randy Orton versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. I'm not really going to go in depth on this story because there's really not much of a story. The story is basically Logan Paul insulted Jelly Roll, I think. I don't even know how this feud even started. I just know it was a moment where Randy Orton just really defended Jelly Roll and talked about how Logan Paul is an outsider and all of that, which was very strange. The celebrity is winning. WWE, when they do celebrity matches, celebrities don't lose. They don't lose. I can't think of the last time, anytime a celebrity has lost a match. Whenever they do, especially a one-off match with a celebrity, the celebrity don't lose. I'm not mad at it. This doesn't really affect Logan Paul. Now I'm assuming Logan Paul has to take the pin here. I don't understand why Drew McIntyre would take the pin here, especially because Logan Paul and Jelly Roll are the main two people in this feud. The majority of this feud has been Logan Paul and Jelly Roll. Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton have been background characters in this feud, so I don't really understand why either of them will take the pin. But Jelly Roll is clearly going to win here. He's the celebrity. This match is made for him, so it only makes sense for him to win. So yeah, I don't really have much to say, but the babyfaces are going to win this match. Now we got Gunther versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I am very interested to see how this match plays out. This match can really go either way. I want Gunther to win. I really do. I want Gunther to be put on that pedestal as that top heel of Monday Night Raw, kind of in the position that they've been building with Seth Rollins. I want him in that position, but I'm going to be honest. I think CM Punk is winning this. I think CM Punk is going to win this match because this is giving me Cody Rhodes and Gunther vibes, where even though Gunther is a top guy, he's not the top guy. It's the same thing with CM Punk. It's like with Cody, where I felt like when they faced that Crown Jewel, I said Cody was going to win, even though it would benefit Gunther more. I said Cody will win because he's higher on the hierarchy and he's the face of the company. CM Punk is higher on the hierarchy. CM Punk is probably top 3 priority in WWE, where Gunther is probably like top 10. I feel like this is a situation where they're just going to give the title to the guy that they have more of an investment in, which is CM Punk, which makes sense because he's probably generating a lot more money. He has more name value, star power, so it makes sense. Now, I do think Seth Rollins will return here. I think Seth Rollins will return from his injury, whether it's a work or not, or whether it is a serious injury. I do think he will return because he did say as long as he's in the company, he is going to prevent CM Punk from winning the World Heavyweight Championship. I think he's going to cash in. I think he's going to cash in. Even though I want him to cash in on the WWE Championship, I think he's going to cash in. I think CM Punk is going to win, and then he's going to cash in on CM Punk, taking that moment away from him, similar to what Damian Priest did to Drew McIntyre, and he is going to become your new World Heavyweight Champion. That's what I think is going to happen. But it's either CM Punk wins, or you can have Seth Rollins return, face CM Punk, take it off of him by cheating or whatever, and then they could feud over the World Heavyweight Championship. That could lead all the way to WrestleMania, the original plan for WrestleMania 40. You could easily do that. Or you could have, Seth Rollins cash in after CM Punk. Either way works, to be honest. You could have CM Punk as world champion, or you could have Seth Rollins return. Either way, I think CM Punk will win this match. Even though I want Gunther to win, I really love Gunther. I really think Gunther should win this match, but I think they're going to give the title to CM Punk. Now we got what I'm assuming is the main event of night 1. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. This match is very interesting. This match I could kind of see going either way, but I think Roman and Jey are going to win. I just don't see a world where Roman Reigns lose his return match. I just don't see it, especially if they're building up towards Roman and Seth eventually. I think Roman kind of has to get the victory. I don't think this really affects Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed because you're losing to Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And plus, they have lost, Braun Breaker has lost to Jey Uso before, so this doesn't really hurt him. I think Bronson Reed will, of course, take the pin because WWE are clearly high on Braun Breaker, and they clearly have, I wouldn't say no interest in Bronson Reed, but they have clearly shown a lot of favoritism towards Braun Breaker. So I think it's very obvious that Bronson Reed would probably take the pin here. Very interested how this plays out. Interested to see whether or not what happens after who wins, because I'm assuming Roman Reigns will, of course, go on a hiatus due to him filming Street Fighter. So that could play into a factor, but I do think Roman Reigns and Jey Uso will pick up the victory here. Moving on to night 2, we got the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match between Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Naomi. This I really love. I love that they make this a triple threat. Very interested how this match plays out. I think Naomi has to win this match here. She just won a championship at Evolution. It makes no sense for her to lose it this quickly. Plus, this still continues the story of Rhea Ripley not being able to beat Io Sky in a singles match. So I still like that story that they're telling here. And plus, Naomi kind of needs this victory because I think Naomi could easily be the biggest heel of women's wrestling if you continue to have her have a good, decent title reign. Man, I am loving her character. The more and more she's on my TV screen, the more and more I am just loving her gimmick and loving her character, and the more high I am on Naomi, man. We need more Naomi. So yeah, I think Naomi's gonna retain. Doesn't make sense for either of the women, especially Io Sky. Do not give the title back to Io Sky. But Naomi retaining, perfect choice, is really the only choice in my opinion. Now we got Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria in a no disqualification match and no countouts match. Very interesting how this plays out. I think Lyra is going to win this title back. I've been saying that since she first feuded with Becky Lynch, that eventually she was going to get the title back at SummerSlam. I think it makes the most sense. And plus, WWE typically like to have the baby faces stand tall at SummerSlam, have them have the good moment of getting their payback on the heel. Only makes sense. Now you do have the factor of Bayley not being at SummerSlam. They've been teasing a potential heel turn from Bayley, so they could do that storyline. But I do think Lyra will get her Women's Intercontinental Championship back, move on to different things, and I think you could continue the story of Bayley and Becky Lynch without the title. I think that's the route that he should go. Very interested how this match plays, but I have Lyra Valkyria becoming your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu in a steel cage match. This match is very interesting. We know how steel cage matches are. It's supposed to keep the wrestler inside, but typically the steel cage does nothing. I think Jacob Fatu is going to win this match, get his U.S. Championship back. The same thing I said for Lyra Valkyria. Same thing applies for Jacob Fatu. He's the babyface in this situation. Give the fans a good moment. Yeah, and plus you got the MFTs. They could play a factor, but the story they've been telling with the MFTs is that Jacob Fatu is just too much for Solo Sikoa and MFTs, which is one of the things I don't like about the story. It's just like, you want us to have sympathy for Jacob because he's the babyface, but when you have him just destroy Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, it's like, it's hard to get sympathy for him when he's just the more dominant force. It's like, I feel more sorry for Solo because he gets his ass whooped every single week. But Jacob Fatu is gonna get his title back, and I'm assuming that's the end of the story. I don't know how you progress the story from there. I don't know how you really keep going with the story if Solo is just gonna lose the title now, of all places. I really feel like this should have been their first match instead of their Night of Champions match, which is a bit confusing to me. But nonetheless, the story overall was decent. I do think they got a little bit lazy and repetitive with the story after Money in the Bank. But overall, I did enjoy the story. Interested how this plays out, but I think Jacob Fatu will become your new United States champion. We get Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship. This story has been really good. I'm glad that they canceled their original match that was supposed to happen at Money in the Bank, if I'm not mistaken. Glad that they canceled that match, or it was Saturday Night's Main Event, one of those two. Glad they canceled that match because they really expanded on the story of Dominic being that Weasley heel, avoiding AJ Styles, while AJ Styles constantly confronting Dominic Mysterio, constantly being in Dominic Mysterio's head. I love the story they've been telling here. I think Dom will retain here. I want AJ Styles to win because I think you could tell more of a story here. But I think Dom is going to win, and I think Roxanne Perez will interfere in the match, helping him retain his Intercontinental Championship. Because on Monday Night Raw, they had a segment where Finn Balor was giving Roxanne a nod to basically seduce Dominic Mysterio. And I think they're going to go back to that story of Roxanne Perez trying to take Dominic away from Liv Morgan. And I think this is going to be that first step of having Dominic start, looking elsewhere, and start looking at Roxanne Perez a certain way with her helping Dominic Mysterio retain his Intercontinental Championship. So I have Dominic Mysterio winning and retaining his Intercontinental Championship. Now we got a 12-man ladder match, a tag team match between 6 teams, if I'm not mistaken, between the Wyatt Six, DIY, Andrade, Ray Phoenix, Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, if I'm not mistaken, and Fraction. So we got 6 teams. This is very interesting. This TLC match, this should have been, well, not this match, but, they had a TLC match months ago that should have been on WrestleMania, but for whatever reason, they decided not to put it on WrestleMania. The Wyatt Six are going to retain. This has been a great tag division. Love what they've been doing on SmackDown. Wyatt Six are going to retain, even though I want the Street Profits to win or a fraction, but I think the Wyatt Six are going to retain. The story they've been telling with the Wyatt Six is that they're basically the boogeyman of the tag team division and that the tag teams need to come together to dethrone them. I think it's too early to end that story, even though I want the story to end because I just don't find it interesting. But in order for this story to work, you got to continue the story of them continuing to beat the tag teams to eventually build up that moment to eventually when they do lose. So I think Wyatt's are going to win. Plus, this protects the other tag teams because you have five other teams in the match, which prevents them from, plus it's a TLC match, so a lot of shenanigans can happen. So I think the Wyatt Six are going to win. I don't want them to win, but I think they will retain and still be your WWE Tag Team Champions. Now we got the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. If you would have asked me who was going to win this match maybe a month ago, I would have said easily Cody Rhodes. But with the recent news of Cody Rhodes being a Street Fighter and he's going to be away for a couple months, I think John Cena has a good chance of winning. Especially because he's on the posters for Clash at Paris. He's advertised for Clash at Paris, where Cody is not. I actually think John Cena is going to retain here, and there's a good chance he may retire as a heel, which I think is a good chance that he may end up retiring as a heel. And I think it actually makes sense for the story for him to continue this road and continue to hold the championship until his retirement. And he doesn't need to turn babyface and lose the championship. He could easily be a champion and turn babyface as well. Now, the thing is, people are saying is that it's going to be a double turn at SummerSlam. I don't think so. The reason why is because if Cody Rhodes is really going to be off for a couple months, why do it now? Why turn heel and then go away? That makes no sense. If he's going to turn heel, he needs to be on weekly shows to show that heel side, not him going away immediately after turning heel. That makes no sense. So I think John Cena will turn babyface, but I think Cody Rhodes will. See, this is where it gets tricky because how does John Cena win while being a babyface in this match? I don't know. That's the interesting question here. I do think John Cena will turn babyface in this match, still winning, but I don't know how. So that's the interesting question. I don't know how they do that. I don't know how they flip that, but very interested how this match plays out. It is a street fight, which makes the match a lot more interesting, a lot better than hopefully it's a lot better than a WrestleMania match. Very interested how this match plays out. But those are my overall SummerSlam predictions. You guys have your overall thoughts and opinions below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.